Afraid of death, I took to the mountains. There, again and again, I meditated on the uncertainty of the hour of my death. Now, having captured the fortress of the deathless, unending nature of mind, all fear of death is over and done.
Who is Milarepa? Well, Milarepa in Buddhist, in Tibetan mythology is the first ordinary Tibetan to attain Buddhahood in a single lifetime in the history of Buddhism in Tibet.
Unique thing about Milarepa, I think, is usually most of the Tibetan biographies, the lamas, what they did and all of that, always starts very, perfect, if I say so. Like they have always been great right from the beginning. And somehow for the modern people, I think it's quite difficult to identify themselves with this figure. Especially nowadays, we have this problem of condemning oneself, lack of confidence, low self-esteem, all of that.
The very first Dharma book I ever read was The Life of Milarepa, and it had been recommended to me. And my first impression was that as I read the story, I identified with him tremendously. Until that time, anything I had ever read about a spiritual teacher had always been so much from the point of view of a fully awake, a fully enlightened person. I had never read the story of a Dharma teacher that presented him as a human being. And so it made a great impression on me because I sort of identified with him every inch of the way in his life.
I think ordinary Tibetan most probably felt that they could become a practitioner and they could have realizations. But maybe people who have done deeds that were not wholesome, that were quite negative, for them to have this kind of a hope, most probably came from Milarepa.
So here is this guy who has done quite a severe things, like killing over 30 people within one go. That's a big deal. Black magic, killing actually relatives, and actually went through lots of problems, worldly problems, family problems. And there was love involved and revenge. So he was a very ordinary, so to speak. And out of this ordinary person, we now have extraordinary person. Cut.
The message of this part of his life, samsara,